Jamaican track and field fans and pundits are still buzzing about the incredible action from the National Senior Championships, where one of the biggest comeback stories unfolded on Sunday night. The Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Megan Tapper reclaimed her national 100-meter hurdles title in spectacular style, running a personal best 12.34 seconds in front of a roaring National Stadium crowd on Sunday. Tapper held off national record holder and defending champion Akira Nugent to secure her spot on Jamaica's team to the World Championships in Tokyo in September. Her fourth national title adds to a story of resilience, dedication, and a fearless mindset as she joins us via Zoom to sing more of her redemption song. And before I get into you singing, Megan, I just want to speak about the times when you're a little bit off key. Right. What was that like mentally for you, if you can paint that picture for me?
Well, it was, we're talking about my performance, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It was very frustrating because I always knew that I was capable of these fast times. I was just not able to do it physically. And that is kind of like being stuck somewhere that you know you don't need to be, you're not supposed to be, but you don't know how to get out.
How did you go through that period? How were you able to navigate that period?
With the help of friends, family, mental therapists, physical therapists, my coach.
Yeah, I mean, we know about the story of the mental therapist, because I want you to just paint that picture again for us in terms of what led you to go that route, and why you thought that that would have been the best way forward.
I've always been a believer of a mental coach or a person who can guide you with your mental activity, because at the end of the day, it's just another expertise that has been studied, and you can use that information that they've studied, that information that they've garnered throughout experience with other people, other athletes, to better yourself. So I was always interested in speaking to somebody who knew more about the topic to help me to get better mentally.
We saw the relief at the end of the race, and it had a lot of us quite emotional. Can you express what was going through your mind at the time?
Akira is a formidable opponent. She is an amazing hurdler. And I knew that in order to come out here and get another national title, which I was actually hoping I would get, I would have to beat her at her best. And so doing that plus running 12:30, she whispered in my ear when she came to me that I ran 12:31, which just like was the icing on top of the cake. And then you saw me hug Leighton, SportsMax's very own, or he's been a part of my journey since 2011, since I went on his show with Andre Lowe. He believed in me. He spoke life into me in those dark, very, very dark times. He cried with me, tears of joy and tears of happiness along the journey. And so just to have him in that moment, to embrace him and to just say, Leighton, we did it. He's one of those people that when I want to achieve something, I think about him, and I think about, the fact that he believes in me and that he speaks life into me. And I'm like, I have to get it done for people like Leighton. I have to, not quit. I have to push and I have to make sure that I get there.
Yeah, and Megan, one of the things people would say is, you're finally here now. You've done all the work that you needed to do to get to this point. So what are you thinking now? What's coming up for you, Megan, now that that hurdle is over?
So first of all, Mara, you are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
And second of all, well, it's a never ending journey. I Yes, I'm over one hurdle, but there are always hurdles to come. I don't believe that, okay, Charles is done, so that's done and packed away. It's how do I get better? How do I ensure that I don't fall back into the same old patterns? How do I ensure that I keep upping the ante, which is what I intend to do. And so, there's no breaks. I literally went right back into planning, right back into training, right back into getting my body where it needs to be to, get another 12-3 or faster performance.
Yeah, and Megan, it must be difficult because what I know for sure is you've been working with Dr. Joe. You have your gym sessions that luckily I'm able to see you from time to time at the gym. And then you have so many other pieces coming together. Financially, that must be a burden as well. And then, just physically showing up every day, mentally showing up every day. How are you able to balance all of that? And have you reached out to corporate Jamaica? Have you received any sort of, assistance so far?
So, of course, I'm with Sandals,
Yes.
the most amazing brand in Jamaica. I feel so blessed to be a part of the Sandals family, and I am so grateful. What you're seeing now is definitely um, as a result of Sandals sticking by me and Sandals believing in me and showing me that, okay, yes, we know what you're capable of on the track, but you as a person is who we believe in. You as a person is who we want to see achieve greatness. And so whatever happens, like I get a message every single time I perform, good, bad, indifferent. We believe in you. We love you. We support you. And that goes a very, very, very long way. And I am going to, what's the word? I'm going to talk on my fellow athletes' behalf and say, listen, Jamaica, every everything makes a difference. Support makes a difference. I know that you guys like to celebrate. I know that you guys like to speak and to criticize and to show love to the athletes, but you can go even a step further by helping them. You have a favorite athlete that you love. Find a way to, sneak them a little thing here and there, because a lot of your favorite athletes are literally struggling to make ends meet, struggling to keep high performance, because this is not easy. It's not easy at all. You guys see the tip of the iceberg. When you see us perform on the track, when you see us not do well, and you're disappointed, just imagine the person who's putting all that work. Just imagine the person who is fueled their dreams from their own pocket, not achieving what they set out to achieve. It is painful. And to have other people knocking you down when you're already down is rough. People who did not support you at all in any part of your journey, knocking you down. It doesn't feel good. And I just want to say, if you can, reach out to your favorite athlete, give a word of support, a word of advice, send some love. And if you can do anything else, do it as well. Do it
Yeah.
as well.
And in my experience being in Jamaica for some time as well, the fans are very passionate, and that can be good or bad. So as you spoke about that just now, a word of support sometimes, people can be bullies on the internet and they can say things that, sometimes the athlete is affected by. Megan, I'm pretty sure you would have been on the receiving end of some of that over the years that you've been competing. How have you been able to bounce back from that and, say, well, I'm not going to let this affect me. I have people like Leighton, and I'm saying Leighton because you used him as your example, who are depending on me to make them proud. How were you able to separate that? Because for most, it's easier said than done.
It is absolutely easier said than done. Gratefully, from my very young age, what's the word? I've curated my space. I've taken my space very seriously, and I ensure that I feed my brain positivity. I feed my brain things that uplift me. And so, funny enough, I have to literally go searching for the negative comments about me. So, that's what other athletes can do. It's not as easy for them because more people say more negative stuff. Things about me is just, why do people believe in Megan? She's short. She probably can't achieve. She probably can't achieve what you guys are thinking she's going to achieve. 12-3 is out of her depth. She might not be able to get there. So that's the only thing. They don't come there. They don't attack my personality. They don't attack most times my performances. But for other people, they do. But my message to them is curate your space. ensure that what you're feeding yourself via social media uplifts you and enhances you and makes you better. And then when you can't curate a space or when it infiltrates your space, what you can do is become the donkey that got dirt thrown on him. Instead of being buried by the dirt to kill him, the donkey shook the dirt off and stepped on it and used that same dirt that was meant to kill him, meant to bury him, to get him out of the hole. So that's my advice.
Megan, can you talk to us about the competitive nature of your event? Because I don't think many people would debate that the women's sprint hurdles is the most competitive on the circuit at the moment. And your 12:34 on the weekend is the sixth fastest time so far this year. How difficult is it for you to deal with that mentally? Because it's pretty tough. I remember when Danielle Williams had won the gold medal in 2023. She was one of the least fancied athletes to win the race, but she ended up winning. So I think from a competitive standpoint, that should give all of the athletes competing in this dicey event a feeling that it could be them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sprint hurdles is crazy. I mean, I was saying to myself, now that I ran 12:3, I'm expecting the girls to go and run 12:1 in Eugene. But I feel like every time I take a step up, everybody takes a step up. Like, we don't breathe, we don't rest. Sprint hurdlers are magnificent. I mean, it is basically sprint hurdlers show that you literally have to be able to clear 10 hurdles, not just on the track, but in life, constantly to be on the top. And we just do that with such amazing capabilities. Like, we just shine regardless. It's crazy that in any race, at any time, somebody can run 12:2. 12:3, I was just telling Joe, is now the new 12:5. Like, you know, like you celebrate when you run a 12:3, but it's not like, oh, I'm close to the world record anymore. It's like, okay, I'm now just in the conversation. I can say, okay, when I line up against these girls, well, to be honest, anytime I line up against these girls, despite them running 12:1, 12:2, 12:0, I'm like, okay, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done before, all of us are at zero right now. I don't know what happened last night with you. I don't know what happened in warm up with you. But if you slip, you slide, and I'm going to make.
How do you feel about the fact that four Jamaicans are heading to Tokyo? Because Danielle has a bye because she is the reigning champion. And you three, with your outstanding performances over the weekend, yourself, Akira Nugent, and Amoy Brown, will be joining her. So these are four world-class athletes coming from Jamaica, ready to take on the best in the world. How does that make you feel that an entire quartet of Jamaican sprint hurdlers will be in Tokyo on the women's side?
So this, first of all, Daniel is clutch. This is the second time that Daniel has given us this opportunity to have four women in the sprint hurdles competition at our world championship. So big up yourself, Danielle. My apologies. Big up yourself. But as I said, this is our second time having four women in the sprint hurdle event. We actually had three women in the final in Doha in 2019. It would be great to replicate that and even do better by having four. Anything is possible. It's the sprint hurdle event. So it's really exciting.
Can you talk to us about some of your inspirations in the early part of your career? I'm going to jump the gun and suggest that maybe Bridget Foster Hilton would have been one of them when she was winning the gold medal in Berlin 2009. You were probably running in the Carifta Games that year. So, you know, she would have been someone that could have uplifted you from in your mental space to say, you know, this is my event and I'm seeing a fellow Jamaican winning gold at the global level.
So funny enough, I don't think I started hurling yet in 2009, or I think that would have been my first year hurling. But I definitely saw Bridget win. And that was spectacular. Seeing her realize that she won that medal and throw herself on the ground with emotion, it was, I felt something in me, and I absolutely wanted to be able to feel that on the track someday. I was actually a long jump at the time, but I always knew that I wanted to be an Olympian. I always knew that I wanted to compete on the world stage in a sport. And I wasn't sure whether it would have been gymnastics or track and field, but I'm really happy it's track and field because I absolutely love track. So obviously, yes, 100%. Bridget was definitely an inspiration. Is still an inspiration.
Yeah.
I didn't have like wide, what do you call it? When I was younger, I didn't like look up to specific people. I drew inspiration from absolutely everything. So when I was in high school, my friend that ran sprints when she was in prep school started doing the 800 in high school. She did not bargain for that at all. Coach just threw her into the event and said swim, and she was like, okay, fine. But I saw her run a race at Jamaica College JC track meet in January, and she's small like me, tiny like me, and she came around the corner for the last 100. It gets me emotional every time I think about it. And as I said, she's tiny, and you have the girls towering over her. And in an event where you reach the last 100 and you're dead tired, she started to sprint home. I didn't expect that. Nobody expected that. And I was like, wow, if Melissa can do that, if Melissa can, push in the last 100 of an 800 meter, I definitely can see myself achieving greater things, better things, and pushing myself to a limit that nobody expects. And it's things like that that has motivated me throughout the year to just be better, not to settle, to always improve, and to always make people like Melissa proud.
Yeah, and we're going to go to a break in a moment, but I just want to ask you this quickly since we were on the Bridget Foster story, Bridget Foster Hilton as she now is, because you're 31 years old now, Megan. and some athletes in some sports begin to decline after they pass 30. Bridget had won global medals but no gold medals for several years before she eventually won that gold in 2009 in Berlin at 34. So I'm suggesting that at 31, you may feel that your best years are still ahead of you.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey trying to get my head in the game, because I was always one to think that your prime is like in your 20s. Obviously, you want to maximize the time that you have in your 20s, because when 30s come, that's when you're closing out your career. So this year especially, it's been a mental battle trying to just find the right place in my mind to say, okay, you are not at the end of your career. You're in a specific and a perfect prime position to push for the last 4 years to the LA Olympics. And some people do really well at the start of their career, and yes, that's amazing, yes, that's great, but then they have 12, 15 years to try to maintain that. I have the next 4 years to push, to be great, and then I can retire afterwards. That's a plus to me. So that's where I am now mentally. And yes, I'm 31, but as you can see, I'm just getting started.
We can see that very well, Megan.
Megan, you hinted at this before, right? And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this in terms of the support of Jamaican athletes and what we as the general public can do to assist Jamaican athletes, especially the ones who are struggling. You must have some insight on maybe the horror stories that other athletes have been going through over the last few years. And of course, in recent times, the conversation has come to the fore now about athletes choosing to represent Turkey as opposed to Jamaica, despite there being pride of place in having the black, green, and gold flag around you, which obviously you would have experienced at the very highest level. Where are you on this in terms of understanding where the athletes are coming from, as opposed to how a lot of Jamaicans feel, especially those who support the athletes and feel that, they should go off to make money and represent Turkey if they have to?
It is never an easy decision for somebody to decide not to represent Jamaica. Having the Jamaican people behind you, not even the Jamaican people, just Jamaican Twitter. Just to have Jamaican Twitter behind you is an amazing feeling. Nobody easily makes a decision to walk away from being Jamaican on the world stage. Easily walks away from having that Jamaican flag or being able to wave that Jamaican flag. So that's the first thing I want to say. I don't think it was an easy decision. No, I also don't think it's just about making money or being rich. I really think it could be more about wanting to be compensated for all the work that you put in. Track and field is a very hard and unforgiving sport. You don't get paid if you don't make a final. Your contracts get cut. You not just cut, but sometimes you get dropped as an athlete because you don't make a final, not because you don't medal, because you don't make a final. And so the bar is really high when it comes to just being compensated for what you feel like you're worth, for the time, the blood, the sweat, the tears that you've poured into something that you love. And so I wouldn't even think of it as, oh, they're going because they want to get rich and they want to be able to, braff with their money and, live a better life. It's not even about living a better life. It's just about surviving. It's literally just about surviving and just being the best that you can be, or knowing that when you step out on that track, you have you had the opportunity to put everything into what you're going to do on that specific day to achieve a medal or to achieve a certain mark. Because a lot of the times, especially for me, I would want to do things. I'd want to make moves. I'd want to, bring a physio to a track meet because I know that my body is the type of body that needs constant work. When I say constant work, I mean high maintenance. That's my body. And because of finances, I wasn't able to do certain things that I knew that my body needed just to achieve a certain mark. So as I said before, it's not about it wasn't about whether I could run 12:3. It was about how to get there, how to use the little resources that I had to make a difference in my career. And so, as I said, it's not an easy decision for anybody to decide to leave the black, green, and gold. Do not take their decision lightly. Don't think that they're dissing Jamaica or that they're leaving Jamaica because it was easier because they're chasing money. No. They want to be better. They want to be able to have a life after track and field. I mean, that's only fair. That's only fair. A lot of people make Olympic teams, a lot of people get medals, and at the end of their career have nothing to show for it. And that's not fair. Imagine working all your life and have nothing to show for it. Mm-hmm. And it's not like if you had the money and you spent it off. You invested back into your career, and as a result, your resources were lessened. Mm-hmm. And then people say, oh, no, you shouldn't take the opportunity to be better. If somebody's offering you what do you call it, a promotion in your job. Yes, you worked as marketing manager and your marketing team loves you and you've done well with the marketing team. But if you realize that, okay, I need more to be better and to improve myself, why not go for it?
Megan, you've hit several points there, and I want to go back to something that you had mentioned even earlier. Compensation as opposed to care, right? And I want to understand from an athlete as to what is more important, especially from administrators who time and time again would say that, okay, they don't have the funding, right? But even in those circumstances, do you think that they show enough care?
I think it's no longer just an administration conversation. I think it's a country conversation. I think at this point, we can't sit and point fingers at anybody specifically because we have the worldwide internet. We have social media where anybody can get to anybody. So yes, we sit and we point fingers and say, oh, they should do better. They're in a position to do better. They should help, etc., etc. You can, you can help. You can reach out to an athlete that you love. You can say, okay, I'm in a position to help you in a specific area. I can fund your mental journey for the year. Because trust me, mental is just as expensive as the physical work that you do. You know, you said to an athlete, I will fund the mental part of your journey for the year. Whatever that is, you give me the bill and I will fund that. You have no clue how much better, how how much of a load that would take off the shoulders of an athlete. Most of us are expected to take care of our families as well as fund our dreams. And if somebody helps by taking a load off of something, then obviously that is going to help in performance, not just in life, but in performance. And imagine you are being not just watching invested, but you literally put skin in the game to help somebody to improve, and you're seeing that person on the world stage improving, and you know that this is as a result of something that you literally did. Imagine how amazing, how fulfilling that would feel.
Yeah, I think you've expressed it really, really well. Megan, one of the other things I wanted to bring up with you is that when an athlete is injured, you have dealt with injuries already. Do you feel like those in administration and those around you reach out as often as they should or offer assistance in various ways? Because when I talk to athletes in interviews, one of the things they say is, most times people only help you when you're doing well. And sometimes that's not the time you need the help, right? You tend to need them when you're injured. You have all these different therapy sessions to pay for and all of that. Did you have a similar experience?
Well, that's where your team comes in. That's where your specific team comes in, and ensuring that you have the right people around you to step in and to fill the gaps that's necessary. Yeah, you have to, as an athlete, you have to ensure that you have the best team. If you follow anybody, you follow any of the top dogs, you'll see that they have their team.
Yeah.
The team is what is most important. And I realized that from a very long time ago. I was just unable to it also wasn't the time. It just wasn't the time for me to have the right people. Because, so for example, I saw a boat and he had a specific team from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
A lot of us have nobody.
Yeah.
And you cannot do track and field alone. You cannot do anything in life alone, but specifically track and field. So curating a space, ensuring that you have a really good team around you is very important.
Yeah, so we're almost to the end of this interview. Megan, where do you head off to next? What meets do you have coming up as you prepare?
So I go to the Monaco Diamond League, which is very exciting. I've never been to Monaco, so and that's just like a country on a whole that I've wanted to go to. So that's exciting. And then I go to Berlin, and then the Silesia Diamond League, and then we gear up for World Champs.
What? Well, you have your work cut out. Donald, do you want to wrap the interview, or would you like me to wrap up with Megan?
You can wrap up with Megan.
All right. Well, Megan, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. We will continue to follow your journey as we usually do, and we're looking forward to see great things from you. All the best.
Thank you, my SportsMax family. Bye, guys.
Bye, Megan Tapper there. Of course, doing amazing stuff. And team, what a good interview that was. If only she came in studio.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to having her live in the studio with us. But she's very articulate and very sincere in her narratives. So she's such an easy person to like.
Yeah.
When you not only when you hear her speak, but when you see her on the track, she exudes this spirit of loving life and loving challenges, and I think she's an inspiration to everyone.
Yeah, for sure.